Thursday games as well. Some good ones.
So, it's so funny because everything in sports is to avoid dynasties. If you look in pro sports, if you're number one, you draft last in the first round. But the reality is there's just 5% of America is either smarter, works harder, better funded, has geographical or revenue advantages, and there's dynasties in every business. Retail, our whole government doesn't want a dynasty. Amazon owns retail. 3 or 4 companies, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, own tech. Dynasties happen. You can't avoid them. And it's just the reality of it, that when the Lakers get rolling, it's a more appealing brand. And this weekend, I think LeBron James now is the deepest team he's ever been on. The Lakers went out and stole Montrezl Harrell from the Clippers, a Sixth Man of the Year. Dennis Schroeder, second-place Sixth Man of the Year. Marc Gasol, a Morris twin, is back. Right now, the Lakers today go 9 deep. They could actually start a game without LeBron and win. They could start AD, Wes Matthews, KCP, Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, and bring Marc Gasol, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso off the bench. They could win a game. I'm not saying they'd be a big playoff team. They could win games without LeBron. This is the best, deepest roster he's ever had. Miami had 3 stars, but no size and shaky at point guard. This team's got everything. Schroeder can give you 18 points a game, 27-year-old starting the team. You've got Marc Gasol and AD are both big, excellent low post defenders. Gasol's also a great passer. LeBron's the best player in the game. AD could be the second or third best players. You've got star power. KCP had a very good bubble playoff. They are loaded. They got younger. They got deeper. They got less crazy. Rondo and Dwight Howard are out. They're shoot the ball better this year. And I look at it this morning and I'm like, I don't think LeBron's ever had 8 other guys on a team. I don't know if he trusts Kuzma, but Gasol, Montrezl Harrell, AD, Wes Matthews has hit playoff shots. Like, it's a real basketball team. And once again, the Lakers look like they're defending champs, and they are stacked. They are stacked. So, unbelievable weekend for the Lakers, and it's, the Dodgers just won the World Series. They've won their division 7 straight years. They went and got Mookie. Who's dominating college football? Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson. Notre Dame's real good. It's like if you look at tennis, we've had men's dynasties. Serena was a women's dynasty. It's the same 4 or 5 great international soccer teams. It doesn't matter if it's retail, it's tech, it's sports. You're always trying to avoid, unfair playing field. Same team. You look at Kansas City right now. They're not going anywhere for 10 years. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, good luck. If you get the right people, you put them together, there's just a finite number of people who are truly great at their job. Right now, the Chiefs have several. And what a weekend for the Lakers. I mean, they are stacked. My other thought from the weekend was, my wife uses this saying sometimes. She'll say, I'd rather adjust to your absence than be frustrated with your presence. She told me that line the other night. We were just talking about sometimes if you're in a company situation and somebody doesn't work, and she's like, you're better off adjusting to their absence than being driven crazy by their presence. And this is why Carson Palmer years ago for the Cincinnati Bengals said, I'm going to retire if you don't trade me. I'd rather adjust to life without football than be annoyed being a member of the Bengals. Trade me or I'm retiring with years left. And that was Carson Palmer's ultimatum. I'm just not going to do this. I'd rather adjust to a life without football than deal with this nonsense. And that's why I said with Joe Burrow, I said, be very careful. I never forget when he got drafted and they took a shot at his family. I'm like, he doesn't look that happy. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. It is not a coincidence. The Browns, the Lions, and the Bengals have been a train wreck for 20 years. It's not a coincidence. Not great owners that won't pay for elite front offices, they don't have them, so they don't find the elite coaches. The best people in the NFL want to work with the best people. right? Like the best people want to work with the best people. And so you get these franchises that nobody's going to take. No really high-end football coach is going to take the Bengals job. Why would you? They don't pay. They won't pay for a top GM. If I'm a coach, you get a Zach Taylor. You're not getting a Sean McVay. Sean McVay had options. You get a Zach Taylor. It's not like people were lining up for Zach Taylor. And that's what you get with these, like the Lions. What elite coach is going to go, if Urban Meyer was on the market, you going to tell me Cincinnati and Detroit get the first call, or the Jets? And so I always say this, in the NFL, be very careful about firing your coach and turning over, because it turns off people. Great coaches want stability. And if you're constantly firing coaches, I mean, nothing against Kevin Stefanski, but it's not like he's an A-plus candidate for a coach. He may work. Same with Zach Taylor, Matt Patricia. You kind of get what you get. So I watched him this weekend, and I like a lot of these young quarterbacks. Tua's look good. Herbert's look good. Josh Allen's look good. Kyler Murray's look great. Joe Burrow looks good. But the one I worry about is Joe Burrow. That's what I worry about. Because Cincinnati has no history of supporting a great young quarterback. Prove it to me. Carson Palmer was the last great one you had, and he wanted out. By the way, Joe Burrow, latest from Adam Schefter. The MRI to Joe Burrow revealed more damage than anticipated. He tore his ACL, he tore his MCL, and suffered other structural issues in his knee as well. You go to a better team, you get a better coach, you get a better O-line. There's just 4 or 5 teams in the NFL. You get a B- coach, you get a C+ GM. The best scouts in the league, they don't want to work for the Lions. They don't want to work for the Bengals. They don't want to work for the Jags. And so that's why I say in the NFL, who's your owner? Who's your owner? That'll dictate everything. You got a good owner, he'll get a good GM, and the GM will have, hey, look at my owner. We have stability. I mean, it's no shock that Andy Reid gets fired in Philadelphia. Where does Andy Reid go? Andy Reid had $20 million in the bank. Where does he go? He goes to Kansas City. The Hunt family's excellent. Brett Veach. Like, Kansas City has a history of not winning a bunch of Super Bowls, but being stable, of being a stable franchise. So I look at Joe Burrow, and the news is lousy this morning, and it's like, this is what we worried about. Bengal nonsense. This is what we worried about. I don't worry about Tua getting benched. I don't worry about Justin Herbert.